Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. Now this one is a 3 vs 3 on the Dry Lake Beds map. It was sent to me by Warsoft, so big thank you to her before we begin. And also something else that you guys probably did notice is that the thumbnail looks very different. It looks very nice and professional. That is in fact because it was created by JMONSTER for me. He was kind enough to offer to make the thumbnail for me, so I did take him up on that offer. So big thank you to him for doing that. If you guys do not know who he is an excellent YouTuber. He does a lot of Reforged stuff as well as other games. So again, if you guys do not know who he is, I will definitely put the link to his channel down in the description below. So definitely go check it out if you guys have not already. If you haven't, then I don't know what the heck you're doing here. But anyway, we'll go ahead and go into the army compositions, beginning with Warsoft, because she was the person who sent the replay to me. So to start off, she has got one of the dismounted Temple Inquisitors, which is where her general is. These guys don't really need much of an explanation, just a very elite two-handed shock infantry unit. They also do have multiple hit points. And over here with her front line, she's got 2 units of the Moron Halberds being backed up by 2 units of the Black Legion of Barad-dûr. The AP of the Halberds should do very well. And the overall defense and shield values of the Black Legion are going to do very well on the front line as well. Behind them, she has 2 units of the standard Moron infantry, and behind them she has some of the troll drummers who are here to give some support, or morale support. These guys are very good at doing that. They do grant a really nice morale bonus. However, they're not super great in combat, and they are incredibly slow. In front of her, main line here, she's got 1 unit of the Orc Ballista, which of course is a very nice addition to the whole Reforged game. It's basically just a ballista that got on steroids. Over here, her Archer Corps really just consists of 2 units of Moron Archers, each with 1 armor upgrade, as well as I think she has 1 unit of the Numenoran Shadow Guard, yes, over here on her flank. She's also got 1 unit of the standard Olaghai, who are one of the best armored trolls in the game. She's also got 1 unit of the Temple Inquisitors, as well as 1 unit of the Melkor's Chosen to round off her forces. Both of these are extremely deadly melee cav. The Melkor's Chosen are definitely better, but they are more expensive and fewer in number. But they also do have hit points and some really nice stats to go with that. So we'll now go over here to her first ally, that being Riz, commanding the army of Arthedain once again, just like the previous Dead Marshes battle. And he has got a very similar army. He's got 1 of the Banderbrass Archers, again with his general being there, and Sam and Frodo being the officers there, which is cool. He's also got 2 units of the Arthedain Marksmen there just to place their stakes. He will retreat them very shortly here. And he's got his standard infantry corps of 2 units of Mercenary War Chiefs, 2 units of the Dismounted Knights of Anuminas, and 2 units of the Dismounted Fornost Erain Knights. He's also got 2 units of the Even-Dim Spearmen, and unlike in the Dead Marshes battle, he's got a bit more cavalry. He's got the Knights of Anuminas, some Dunedain Mounted Company, some Royal Court of House Amlaith, and I think he's got, just the 1 unit of the Arthedain men-at-arms back there as well. I'm pretty sure that just about does it for his forces, but he could also have some hidden units like some Troll Slayers, but just because of his overall army composition, I don't know if he would have enough money to do so. So the final ally of Sof is over here, that being Gondor, who's being commanded by Tundra's Fox. He's got a couple units of the standard Gondor Spearmen without armor upgrades. He's also got, I think, like 3 or 4 units of the Gondor Infantry, also without armor upgrades. I've got to say, I actually really do like the black tunics that they wear. I personally like to have 1 armor upgrade on them, just so they have a little bit of plate armor, but still they should do their job very effectively. He's got 2 units of the Care Andros Swordmasters, just a 2-handed sword shock infantry that also inspires fear, if I can speak. Back here for his general, he has got 1 unit of the Shielded Fountain Guard, and another AP spear unit that Gondor has to offer. And that one does actually have hit points as well, unlike the standard Fountain Guard. In his front line, he's got a couple units of Gondor Archers. I think he also has a unit of hidden Athelian Rangers somewhere around here, but again, because they're hidden, you won't be able to see them. His front line consists of a couple units of Guards of Osgiliath being backed up by some Gondor Infantry, who are there to provide some shield value support, really. And behind them, he's got a couple units of Rammus Corps Garrison here just to kind of plug up any holes that should appear in the line. Over here you can see his last unit of Gondor Spearmen and his last unit of Gondor Infantry. And to round off his army, he has got 3 units of the Unlocalized Placement Text, also known as the Peneth Galen Cavalry. I don't know why they actually are called the Unlocalized Placement Text in my version of the game. I think it was just some mistake that I did. I'll try to fix it by the next video, but we'll just have to see. So that will pretty much do it for these for this army. So we'll now go over to the other army. We'll first look at JMONSTER's army. He's commanding the Realm of Mercury. He's got 4 units of Thandrim E. Aaron, 3 units of the Megaliaran, 2 units of Roakbin Amon Lank, I think that might be how you say it. He's also got 1 unit of the IRR Bran and the Nanwaith, which is where his general is. This is just like the better version kind of these Roakbin Amon Lank. Something to note about these Roakbin, I think they're technically spear cavalry, which means they have a bonus against other cavalry. However, they're not going to be as good in melee against standard infantry and stuff like that. Over here, he's got a couple units of the Here E Pang, as well as 2 units of the Here E Lang, who are, of course, a 2-handed sword shock infantry. In addition to this, I think he has a couple, maybe even 3 units of the Tower Archers. I don't remember their full name, like the Here E Tower, I think it might be what they are. They are just a light archer unit. They might be BP, but I'm not totally positive about that. But again, they can't hide anywhere, so they are going to be around here somewhere. But as you can see, that he's kind of deployed a little oddly. That is just because he is going to be instantly trying to go to the support of his ally, who's right over here. His first ally is going to be Donald Kingslayer, who's commanding the realm of Lothlorien. He's got 1 of the Galadrim Riders, which is probably one of the best horse archer units in the game. They're also not horrible off the charge, actually, either, but they do also, and they also do have hit points, which means they are not going to do they're not going to suffer too many losses to skirmish fire. However, if you do focus enough archer units on them for a lengthy amount of time, they will, of course, fall like any other unit. For his archers, he has got 1 unit of the Galadrim Nobles, which is a 1400 Florin archer unit. These guys do not have a ton of ammo, however, that is because they are actually very, very good in melee as well. He's also got 2 units of the Lorien archers right here as well, and in front of them, hidden, he's got a couple units of the hidden Sylvan archers, which is just another light archer unit. Back here, you can see his very small infantry corps. He's got 3 units of the Lorien axes being backed up by, well, backing up, I should say, 2 units of the Lorien spears. And way behind them, he's got 1 unit of the Kariska Latan's Guardians, which is where his general is, which is and this unit is definitely one of the best pike units in the game, if not the best. He's also got 1 unit of the Lorien Warriors, which is an AP shock infantry unit, which is always going to be very, very effective against heavily armored factions, and against Mordor it should not do bad either. He's also got a couple hidden units of, I believe, some Staff Masters. He could also have a unit of Maethor Elas Galen, but I don't think he does. I'm pretty positive, though, that he does, in fact, have some Staff Masters hidden around there. Over here, we'll go to the final army. That is Isengard, being commanded by Sharpie. He's got a couple units of the Uruk-hai Archers, a couple units of Uruk-hai Crossbows. He's got 2 units of the Dunlending Veterans, which are just kind of a low-tier infantry unit that Isengard has to offer, but it is pretty cheap, so it's always going to be pretty worthwhile to bring. And having one-handed axes, they do actually have a higher attack value than most sword and shield units. So it's got 1 unit of the standard Uruk-hai pikemen, 4 units of the Uruk-hai infantry, and something to note about the Uruk-hai infantry, they do cap out at 4, but something to note about them is that they actually do have a really high attack value for a standard sword and shield infantry unit, and that is because they are very expensive and quite low in numbers. This is more, the Uruk-hai infantry are actually very similar to a human factions infantry, so you're going to have less of them, but they are going to be a little bit more, they're going to be a little bit better in terms of quality, I should say. So he's also got 1 unit of the Uruk-hai Raiders standing here, and then back here he's got his cavalry, which is 1 unit of the Champions of the White Hand, who are an incredibly deadly melee cavalry unit. Probably it would be a very interesting fight to see what would happen between these guys and the Melkor's Chosen. And then back here he's also got 3 units of the standard Warg Riders, who, like all Wargs, are going to be very good at taking out enemy cavalry, but not too great at running down enemy infantry. Also got a couple hidden units of the Snaga Skirmishers around here, which is just the Javelin unit that Isengard can bring, and I'm pretty sure that just about does it for his army composition. And the army compositions of everyone else. We'll go ahead and start off the battle. I don't think it starts off too quick. Really the only thing you're going to see right away happen is JMONSTER pushing forward with all of his units to go to the support of his ally, or at least get a little bit closer to get into a better position. You can see his cavalry easily going to be going in lead there because they are, of course, mounted, but they're not going to go too far away because he does have to support them. And here, yes, you can see the Thurn E-Towers, what they're called. It's 3 units of the light archer unit that I believe is AP, but I could be wrong about that. As you can see, he's just moving all of his forces around here. He's got a lot of the light infantry here, which is not actually going to be well, it actually is going to be pretty effective actually against the Gondorians, because any of the AP that he did bring is not going to be very effective against the lightly armored elves at all. Plus, the elves have much higher attack values and way better skill values as well, so it's going to be a very even fight. However, like all elven factions, the Realm of Mirkwood does lack in terms of numbers, so he does have to be careful about not getting surrounded. You can see his archers going into formation here. Looks like the Hiri Pang are going on either flank, backed by some Hiri Lang, and then in the middle he's got his 3 units of 30 tower. Looks like the Galadrim Riders here of Donald Kingslayer are also marching in front of the Mirkwood infantry just to make sure no enemy cavalry does in fact charge after them. But you can see that Tundra's Fox is also beginning to move forward with his forces. His 3 units of Gondor archers here will not do horrible against the Elven archers, just because of the fact that they have pretty good armor. However, because of their far inferior range and numbers, surprisingly, they are going to suffer quite heavily, but really they're not going to do as badly as some other factions just because they are quite heavily armored. But again, yes, the Realm of Mirkwood definitely does have a lot of archers. Oh, but you can see the Orc Ballista of Soph now firing, and if it does get a hit on these units right here who are in very close formation, it's going to do a great deal of damage. You can actually see that pretty much all of Lorien has put his troops into loose formation. You can see Isengard moving forward as well, and it looks like Arthedain is also starting to move forward. So it looks like it's going to be a very good team battle, which is always nice, because it seems to be the case in most large pitch battles that it's more just like 3 or 4 1v1s rather than like a full-on 4v4 like team battle. Ooh, it's going to be very interesting here, because if Gondor keeps marching forward, they might be able to get a pretty nice hill advantage, but unfortunately if they do decide on that, then it means they are going to be kind of cut off from their allies. So it'll be a very interesting situation to see if he does decide to do that or not. Oh, I hear some archers firing. Yes, it looks like these Thurn E Tower are going to be the first to draw the blood of their enemies, firing down into these Gondor archers. And this unit actually does not have any armor upgrades at all, so they're not going to do very well against that at all. But you can see that Tundra's Fox is not just going to sit around and get shot to death, so he is actually going to be surging forward with most of his units. And at the same time, you can see that Lorien has actually moved forward a lot of his units as well, mostly just archers. Looks like he's brought forward his Sylvan archers to try to skirmish down the Orc Ballista, which is not a bad idea. He's using fire arrows, still at 0 damage though. However, fire arrows are a little bit OP to say the least in this patch. Just for the moment. In the hotfix it will definitely get fixed, but you can see that these light elven archers are just getting absolutely melted by the Mordor archers who are using fire arrows. But yeah, you can just see those poor Sylvan archers just having a horrible time of it right there. Over here though, you can see that the Uruk-hai archers are now in range of some of the Arthedain forces. However, they're having to kind of fire over this hill here, so Arthedain definitely does have the terrain advantage in terms, definitely does have the terrain advantage so far in this battle. See these Banderbrass archers moving around to a better position to fire, as well as the second unit of Arthedain marksmen. And localized, yeah, the Pnithgalen cavalry is still sitting over there, but ooh, yeah, these poor Sylvan archers is getting absolutely butchered just by the sheer amount of numbers that these Mornon archers are able to put out. And I don't think they were even able to take out the full ballista crew either. Yes, you can see that Soph is actually bringing forward one of your units of Orc fodder over here just to try to shield the ballista crew. Ooh, and the skirmish fight between Gondor and the Realm of Mirkwood seems to be... Ooh, I was going to say it seems to be somewhat even. You can see some of these Thurn Tower have definitely fallen, but it's just going to be a pretty close fight, I feel, mostly just because of the fact that Gondor does have pretty good armor. However, so far it looks like definitely there are more dead Gondorians than there are dead elves, which is unsurprising considering the elves are always going to be very good in a skirmish fight. Ooh, but yes, it's turning out to be a very cool battle so far. I just like it because, like I said before, it seems like it's going to be more of a team battle rather than just a bunch of 1v1s, which is always nice. Not that those aren't good, but they're still just okay. Ooh, now you can see the fire arrows now going into the Galadrim nobles, who, with hit points, are going to be able to tank this somewhat well. However, just because of how good fire arrows currently are, they will start to succumb to the fire arrows eventually. Oh, this is where the general is. For some reason I thought that the general was in the Karaskalaton's Guardians, but no, it's in the Nobles. See that JMONSTER is going to retreat his archers now. He has done enough damage, looks like, or he has done as much damage as he wants to at the moment, but that also is probably just because it looks like Gondor is going to be marching forward again. It looks like he actually is going to try to take some of this high ground here, which, like I said before, is going to be interesting because while he is going to have a pretty nice terrain advantage, it is going to mean that he will be cut off from his ally Mordor, which could definitely turn out badly for him. You can see the here Elang right here taking volleys from the Orc Ballista. The area of effect on that Orc Ballista definitely doing its work there. And yeah, it looks like all those Lorien... no, thought all the Sylvan Archers had fallen, but no, it looks like there's still a okay amount of them left, all things considered. But Lorien still does have a good amount of archers, because again, as elves, they're going to always have a lot of archers. But oh, over here looks like the cavalry fight has begun. You can see the Knights of Annúminas butchering... Oh, wait. Yeah, it looks like the Knights of Annúminas, paired with the Royal Court of House Amlaeth, were able to butcher one of the units of Warg Riders. However, not without casualties. Actually, ooh, yeah, the Knights of Annúminas down to 14 already. Very surprising indeed. Over here, the Dunedain Mountain Company is going to be no match for this unit of Warg Riders here. However, they are going to be getting some support in the form of these Knights of Annúminas and the Royal Court of House Amlaeth. Good charge right there, but looks like it's not going to take out too many of the wargs right away. Looks like the crossbows, yeah, the crossbows are here as well, just pouring volley after volley into the Knights of Annúminas and Royal Court of House Amlaeth, which is definitely going to be the reason why so many of them have fallen so far. But so far, it looks like Isengard is definitely going to be the first in the fight in terms of the infantry engagement, but we'll see. So he's pushing forward with some of his Urka infantry as we speak. And right here, yes, the Dunedain Mountain Company and the rest of the Arnorian cavalry is going to retreat because while they were able to take out most of that unit of Warg Riders, they were just being shot to death by so many different units that they're trying to retreat, but by now there's really just not enough of these units of cavalry left to do much damage. There's actually 11 Warg Riders back there in the back lines as well, surprisingly enough. Melkor's Chosen are actually on their way over here to give some support to Arthedain. Ooh, actually some Mornon archers were over here as well, but it looks like they took a lot of losses from the Urkai crossbows. You can see the Urka infantry going to try to go after the archers, but instead they're going to get caught out by these Melkor's Chosen. They're going to get a brutal charge straight at the unit of Urka infantry, and that unit is just going to be pretty much decimated by that frontal charge right there from that very elite unit. However, you can see that Riz is not going to be stagnant in terms of his infantry. He's going to be pushing forward some of his shock infantry straight into these Urkai infantry, which is not going to be bad at all, especially because of the shock infantry. That is basically what they are made to do. Over here you can see that JMONSTER is not going to be idle either. He's actually going to be going on the offensive here. He does not want to sit back and let the Gondor archers have their way, so he is actually going to be pushing forward now with a lot of his infantry. You can see the Orc Ballista trying to get a few kills off on the spearmen there, but not going to do a very good job of that just because of the fact that these targets are moving. JMONSTER is of course going to wait for his units to get back into their formation. He does not want them to get stuck out by themselves. Just showing that he is definitely a very experienced player. Here goes some Megal E. Aaron and some Thandrin E. Aaron going into the Guards of Osgiliath and the Gondor infantry. The pikemen, it's going to be an interesting fight here. I don't know. I think the Thandrin might have shield wall, so if they do have shield wall, then they will be able to push through the Guards of Osgiliath. But it actually looks like the Guards of Osgiliath were kind of pushed out of formation right away, so they might struggle very heavily here. Ooh, Gondor Spearmen and all of the Gondor Cavalry now going over here straight into the Roak bin Amanlank and the General's unit of JMONSTER over there as well. Looks like, ooh yes, the Temple Inquisitors of Soph Soph are over here as well, so it's going to be a very, very difficult fight here for JMONSTER's cavalry. And so he's just getting kind of surrounded on all fronts by not only enemy cavalry, but also by some spearmen. So he's going to try to pull them out of there before taking too many losses. However, if it weren't for the intervention of the Mordor melee cav, I definitely think that JMONSTER would be able to win this cavalry fight, just because of the good bonuses that the Roak bin Amanlank do have. You can see over here the unlocalized placement text. Well, sorry, Pinith Galen Cav is really struggling against the Ira Ebran and the non-wave. Ooh, but the Temple Inquisitor is now going to rear charge straight into JMONSTER's General's bodyguard unit right there. But for now, we'll take a look back over here at the main infantry fight. You can see, so far, it definitely looks like JMONSTER is holding his own, and in fact even pushing quite hard against the Gondorians here. You can see the Hiri Lang are also in the fight, and they're just going to absolutely butcher the Gondor Spearmen there. Over here, the other unit of Hiri Lang is doing the same to the second unit of Gondor Spearmen. However, there are some Cairn Swordmasters over here. It looks like JMONSTER has actually accidentally committed some Thurn Tower over here. But then again, they could also be out of ammo. But yeah, the Cairn Swordmasters on the flanks right here is going to be a very wise move here, just because of the fact that they are fear-inspiring. So if he can break the flanks of JMONSTER, then it's going to be very bad for him. You can see the Thurn Tower actually trying to target down those Numenor and Shadowguard before the BP arrows of those Rangers go into his lightly armored troops. See that Lorien is starting to move forward most of his infantry as well. And over here, Arthedain is being very hard pressed over here by Isengard. Looks like a lot of his mercenary war chiefs are falling at this point. However, he does have a lot of low tier units like the Evendim Spearmen left over, and he also still has his elites like the Dismounted Knights of Anuminos over here as well. I think most of the cavalry of Isengard has been taken out as well, except for those 19 chambers in one hand. So if he wants to hold on to the ground that he has made over here, he's definitely going to have to try to cycle charge into the elite units like the Dismounted Knights of Anuminos and even the Fornost Arrayed Knights if he wants to hold on to the ground that he has made. Looks like some Uruk-hai Raiders being backed by some Uruk-hai Pikemen over here, trying to deal with the second unit of Evendim Spearmen and this other unit of Dismounted Fornost Arrayed Knights. But again, a very close fight over here so far. Ooh, and it looks like Lorien has charged into the ranks of Mordor as well. The Lorien axes kind of unsupported at the moment. However, they are about to be backed by some Lorien archers who are now out of ammo. But again, as always, Mordor is going to be able to surround the low numbers of elves, but we'll see how it goes. Looks like the Karis Galadhon's Guardians are also going to march over there to that side. Ooh, but over here, the elves just do not have enough numbers to deal with being surrounded by Mordor. You can see these Lorien axes just getting dropped right away. You can see he's trying to support them by some with some Galadhrim nobles, I should say. But the Galadhrim nobles are also very low in number, so over here, it's definitely not looking very good for Lorien. You can see some routing cavalry of JMONSTER over there. Ooh, there goes the Arthedain general, actually. And you can actually see here are the staff masters of Donald Kingslayer. Looks like they're trying to go after the Numenor and Shadowguard. And over here, you can see that, ooh, yeah, because of the melee cav support of Soph, looks like most of JMONSTER's cavalry has been taken out. However, you can see that he's heavily winning the infantry fight, at least at the moment. You can see that most of these first wave of Gondor infantry has been taken out. You can see that Tundra Fox has actually had to commit some very elite units like the Shielded Fountain Guard as well. So he's definitely looking... His units are definitely pretty thin on the ground so far. You can see he does have some cavalry left over, actually a good bit of cavalry left over. And being Lancer Cav, if he uses them effectively, they are going to do very good against JMONSTER's forces because he does not have any cavalry left over. So depending on how well Tundra's Fox can use his cavalry, he may still be able to turn this fight around back in his favor. Ooh, yeah. Looks like the archers of Gondor are now free to work. It looks like they're going to be firing straight into the flanks of these units right here who do not have any shields at all, so it's going to be very hard for them to win that fight. Thurny Tower and Hiri Lang trying to hold back these Cairn Swordmasters as well. But over here, Soph is on her left flank right here. Lorien is holding quite well, definitely because of the presence of the Karis Galadhon's Guardians, but also just because of the sheer amount of numbers Donald Kingslayer does have here. But over here, Soph is definitely looking to be becoming the victor out of this, because while the Galadhrim nobles are definitely good in melee, just being surrounded like that is not going to be very good for me. You can see the Lorien general actually going down there. See some Sylvan Staff Masters are trying to outflank these Mordor units here, but not going to be very quick at taking out the enemies just because the Staff Masters are just kind of a tar pit-like unit. We'll see over here for a second. Ooh, yeah, I definitely think that Donald Kingslayer kind of overcommitted in this area. I do see why he did this, just because of the sheer amount of numbers that Mordor does have here, also because of the fact that there are the dismounted Temple Inquisitors here, but I definitely think he could have pulled off maybe a unit or two to help out his other flank over here, because as soon as these nobles go down, then all these mortar units will be free to surround what's left of his army right over here. We can go ahead back over here now to see what's going on. Swordmaster's doing okay, but they are kind of getting surrounded now by the Hiri-Lang. Over here, the Shielded Fountain Guard are all that's left to hold back these Megalith and Spearmen as well. Ooh, it's looking very, very close right now between Gondor and Mirkwood, especially because of the fact of all these flanking units of Gondor, like these Karander Swordmasters and the cavalry there as well. Ooh, you can, yes, here are the Athelian Rangers of Gondor, just firing all down this line, but it looks like they were attacked by some of the Mirkwood units. So they are pretty low in numbers. Ooh, 31 Gondor Spearmen routing right there. That's definitely not good, because that will free up some more units of JMonsters to go after units like these Karander Swordmasters, who are actually shaken, surprisingly enough. So if JMonster can capitalize on this, he may be able to route that unit there. But oh, there goes his general right there. That's definitely not going to be very good for him. But oh, almost simultaneously, the Gondor general goes down as well. So now is where things are really going to get tight here between Gondor and the realm of Mirkwood, because the fear-inspiring units like Karander Swordmasters will start to definitely take effect on the Mirkwood units now that the general has been lost. You can actually see that the Shielded Fountain Guard were wavering for a second there, but now that we're going back to shaken, they should be able to hold for a while longer. Ooh, but over here the Karander Swordmasters getting surrounded by a bunch of units of JMonsters right here. We may see a rout of these 22 Karander Swordmasters very shortly. But yes, the cavalry of Gondor has really just proven invaluable to Tundra's Fox here. Really, I think if it weren't for the fact that he had kept his cavalry so long, I definitely think that JMonster would have been able to handily beat Gondor. But as it is, it's going to be very, very close to see who will win. Gondor Archers is going to be committed to melee as well here. Gondor Spearmen still just routing. There are still some Gondor Archers just who are just pretty much being allowed to fire freely, but that is because of the fact that JMonster does not have the numbers to really try to silence them. Over here, the Thurney Tower and Hiri-Lang are trying to hold back the Ramesakor garrison and the Karander Swordmasters. But we will now go back over here, because I think I saw some routing Lorien units. Ooh, yeah, it looks like Lorien is starting to struggle. Lorien has definitely taken a heavy toll on the forces of Mordor. It looks like actually Donald Kingslayer is pretty much able to completely beat this flank here of Mordor. Harvey does not have very many units left, and because of the loss of his general, you can see some of his units are actually shaken. If you think about wavering, you can see the Galadhrim Riders are back there as well. Ooh, they're probably going to get taken out by the Halberds and things like the Olokai and stuff, but still. There's still 33 of the Karis Galadhon's Guardians there, so they should be able to do very well, even though they are pretty low in number. Over here, though, we can see what's going on between Isengard and Arthedain. It looks like they pretty much completely destroyed each other. You can see there's still some Arthedain units, but they're actually routing because of the loss of the general there, and because of the fear-inspiring units that Isengard does have left. There goes the Mordor general, actually. So it's going to be, again, pretty close over there. Ooh! Oh my! Champions of White Hand, only 7 of them left, charge straight into the shield wall, even Dim Spearmen, instantly routing them. Again, this is a very, very close fight over here, but it looks as if Isengard will be able to pull this off. But it was, again, a very, very close fight over here between these two armies. Let's take a look at the percentage, actually. It's 89 to 91, within 2%. So it's an insanely close, or it's been an insanely close battle so far. Yeah, it looks like the last of Lorien's troops are now being taken out. Lorien just didn't have enough troops in the end to be able to deal with the numbers of Mordor. However, Mordor has taken some grievous losses. I think the biggest mistake of Lorien was kind of overcommitting in one area and not committing enough in the other, but still, these things do tend to happen in very close battles like this. But over here, it looks like Gondor has beaten JMonster's forces on this flank. Oh, I think these 6 Lancers are the only thing that's left of Gondor's cavalry. But over here in the center, you can see that JMonster still does have a pretty good portion of his forces. Well, not a very large portion of his forces, but considering what he has left, he does have a pretty sizable amount of his forces right here in the middle. But they are about to get outflanked now by some Karander Swordmasters and Ramesakor garrison, like infantry. But we'll see if the Karander Swordmasters' fear-inspiring fear-inspiring abilities will be enough to break these Thunder and Air, and we'll see if that is the case. See a counter charge right there by the Spearman, actually. Not a bad idea right there by JMONSTER. Ooh. Some of them are wavering. Over here you can see some more remnants of JMONSTER's forces going into the Gondor archers, trying to silence them. Looks like there was also a unit of Thunder in the Air that went after the Athelian Rangers, taking out all but 2 of them. But it is now returning, and is probably going to outflank these Gondor archers. And with the loss of the general, a flank like this might be enough to break those Gondor archers, which will free up more of his forces to go over here and help take out the last of these Gondor forces. But again, it's a very, very close fight so far. Still 6 of those shielded vanguard left over. And 31 spearmen here. Ooh, Lauren archers routing. Thought for a second they were still up, but no. Okay, it actually looks like Mordor is going to first go to try to take out, is going to first try to take out what's left of JMONSTER's forces. But again, Mordor does not have very much left either. She basically just has some more infantry, a few halberds, some few Black Legion, and some Olokai. I think most all of her dismounted Temple Inquisitors were taken out. Looks like there's only 6 of them left, actually, yeah. We can take a quick look over here, though. See what's going on with Isengard. Looks like Isengard is just trying to slowly make his way over to the rest of, or make his way slowly to the other side of the battlefield. I do not know if he will be able to get there in time, though, to be able to help out JMONSTER. We'll just have to see. Oof, this was just a bloody, bloody fight between Gondor and Mirkwood. It was a very, very close fight. But with the supporting Mordor forces here, it looks like Tundra's Fox will be able to pull off a victory here against JMONSTER. But again, it was a very close fight. And without the support of Mordor, I definitely think that JMONSTER would have been able to win this fight. Mostly, I think what was troublesome to him was the fact that those, what are they called, mounted Temple Inquisitors were able to come over and take out a lot of his cavalry, which basically allowed the Penithgalen cavalry to run around for pretty much the whole battle, just cycle charging all around his lines and stuff. So if it weren't for that, I definitely think he would have been able to pull it off. But again, very well played by both sides. All sides, I should say. Yeah, there's only 4 Ologhai left. Black Legion of Barad-dûr is now here, as well as some Moran Halberds. And it looks like, yeah, the last of JMONSTER's forces are now routing. That is going to be the end of his forces. Still 2 of the Penithgalen cavalry left over, but that is going to almost... Yeah, it looks like pretty much all that's left now is for Isengard to try to get over to the... what's left of Mordor and Gondor. So we'll go ahead and speed up real quickly, but first, yeah, still within 2%, an insanely close battle. We'll speed it up just until Isengard decides to march over there, or if Gondor and Mordor decide to come over to Isengard. Ooh, yeah, so many bodies here. Very, very close fight. All 3 of these were very close fights. Still 2 Athelian Rangers, surprisingly enough. Only 1 shielded vanguard. Oh man. There's actually some routing Gondor archers there. Looks like Isengard is trying to get up onto a better firing position, because he does still have a few crossbows left over, as well as some Snagga skirmishers. He's actually got a decent amount of pikemen left over as well, and his champions of White Hand. If he wants to win this, he's gonna have to like do something insane with his cavalry. Let's see, he's actually yeah, he's gonna charge straight into those Gondor archers and Kingdra Swordmasters, taking out all of them and only losing 1 in the process. But even losing 1 champion of the White Hand, even in a fight like that, is going to be very costly. See the Uruk crossbows trying to reload in time to fire at these Penithgalen cavalry, who were actually thinking about wavering, or actually thinking about routing, I should say. Oh, they were able to get a charge off, but it looks like they didn't take out any of the Uruk crossbows actually. Oh, yeah, and there goes one of them. And they routed, okay. See, there are still 32 Numenorian Shadow Guard, the BP Rangers of Mordor, and they are going to begin firing, looks like on... Oh, it's not on the pikemen, no, they're actually trying to target the champions of the White Hand, which is not a bad idea, because I think Rangers do actually have a slight bonus against cavalry. But again, most of the time you wouldn't be able to get very many kills, especially against an elite unit like the Champions White Hand who have hit points. But this late in the game, it would actually probably not be a bad idea at all. You see some Urka crossbows going forward now as well. I'll put it back down to 1 times. And some Urka infantry and some Urka crossbows trying to silence these Numenorean Shadow Guard, but there are some Olaghai looming in the background, getting ready to get off their ferocious charge bonus here, right onto the Urka crossbows. Ooh! And to flatten a few of them right there, definitely. See Mordor resetting her lines over here. The pikemen marching forward as well as some crossbows and some Stongai skirmishers. Ooh, it's the same 96 to 96%. Oh my goodness. I've not seen this close of a battle in a very long time. Oh, this is not a good idea. Oh. Champions of the White Hand going against Trolls is not going to be a good idea because Trolls always have a bonus against cavalry. There looks like one of the Trolls was taken out. No, just one of the Trolls was taken out. But 2 of the Champions of the White Hand were taken out as well, and that's definitely not something that Sharpie can afford to happen. Oh, there goes another champion. Looks like, yeah, at this point I don't really think that Isengard is going to have enough. But nevertheless, it's still been a very close battle. You can actually see, yeah, pikemen fighting against the Black Legion Bardur, but because they don't have enough numbers, they're just kind of getting surrounded. There's also some dismounted Temple Inquisitors there. Snaga Skirmishers trying to get off a volley on these Morning Halberds. Oh, if they're able to get it off, it might rout the Halberds. Oh, nope, they're back to steady. Ooh, and that's going to be it for those Naga Skirmishers. Urka crossbows still trying to fire and help out what's left of the Champions of the White Hand. There's actually still some Dunlending veterans over here, and 3 Urka infantry, but just being so outnumbered, they're not going to be able to take out what's left of Mordor, or what's left of these Mordor infantry and stuff. And it looks like that is pretty much as that is one of the last Champions of the White Hand gets flipped over by a troll. Looks like that's going to pretty much be the end of the battle. And yes, the pikemen now going to be surrounded by some halberds and some fear-inspiring Black Legion Bardur on either side. Probably will lead them to rout. And there goes the last Champion of the White Hand, the Isengard General, which is going to mean the instantaneous rout of all that remains of Isengard's forces, with the exception of these Urka crossbows, actually, who are trying to take out some trolls, it looks like. See if they might be able to take out one of them. Nope. I don't know. Yeah, they won't be able to get off another volley in time. Take a look at the percentage here as the trolls butcher the crossbows. Within 2%. Ooh, yeah, that was such a close battle. That was insanely close, and it was very fun to commentate. And it looked very fun to play as well. There's actually still a few Urka crossbows and infantry over here, but it's not going to be enough. There's actually only 5 Numenorean Shadow Guard left over. I think they're getting chased by the Champions of the White Hand. Yes, there goes some admit defeats, and that will be it for this battle. So I'll just go ahead and speed up until the very end. And yes, that's it. So it looks like Soph was able to get the most kills on her team, being very closely followed by Riz, and Tundra's Fox was not that far behind. JMONSTER getting the most kills for his team, and then Donald Kingslayer, and then Sharpie. So again, a very close battle, and big thank you to Soph for sending it to me, and to JMONSTER for making the awesome thumbnail. So we'll take a quick look at Soph's exact kills. 158 for the dismounted Temple Inquisitors, and that's very impressive considering that she was fighting against elves who are low in numbers as it is. Olaghai getting 144, and the rest of her units just doing their jobs basically. Troll Drummers only getting 7 kills, but again, they're just there for morale support pretty much. Ooh, Melkor's Chosen and Temple Inquisitors and Ballista also all getting over 100 kills. The Melkor's Chosen actually getting closer to 200 kills. But again, that is going to be the end of this video, so farewell wherever you fare till I receive you at your journey's end.